The silence of a forgotten barn or the rustling leaves of a secluded forest often hides secrets that automotive enthusiasts can barely stomach. We are talking about the ghosts of the highway, the skeletal remains of what were once the kings of the open road and the backbone of the industrial world. Welcome to a journey through the haunting landscape of the 20 forbidden pickup trucks left for dead. These are not just ordinary vehicles. They are engineering marvels, cultural icons, and rare prototypes that have been inexplicably abandoned to the relentless forces of nature. For decades, these machines hauled the dreams of nations, conquered terrains that seemed impassable, and defined the very essence of rugged durability. Yet today they sit in a state of tragic decay. Imagine stumbling upon a legendary heavy-duty hauler, its once vibrant paint now a mosaic of oxidized iron and peeling lacquer, its chrome grille grinning like a skull through the overgrowth. Some of these trucks are considered forbidden because they were never meant to survive, or perhaps because their rare parts and unique designs make them nearly impossible to restore in the modern age. They are the victims of economic collapses, family feuds, or simply the passage of time that rendered them obsolete in the eyes of the fast-paced world. From the experimental turbines of the mid-century to the limited edition performance trucks that outran sports cars, the variety of steel rotting in these automotive graveyards is staggering. As we peel back the layers of dust and debris, we find stories of heartbreak and neglect. Why would anyone leave a priceless piece of history to be reclaimed by the earth? In this video, we aren't just looking at scrap metal. We are paying tribute to the lost titans of the truck world. We will explore high desert plains where the dry air preserves shells of 1940s workhorses, and humid swamps where moisture eats away at the frames of rare imports. These 20 trucks represent a lost era of craftsmanship, where every bolt was tightened with purpose and every curve of the fender was a work of art. Brace yourself, because seeing these forbidden legends left for dead is a visceral experience that will make you question how we let such magnificent history slip through our fingers. The 1957 Chevrolet Cameo Carrier. Before the Cameo arrived, pickup trucks were strictly utilitarian tools, austere, uncomfortable, and built only for the grime of the farm or the construction site. The Cameo Carrier changed everything by introducing fiberglass rear fenders, two-tone paint, and an interior that rivaled luxury sedans of the era. It was the grandfather of the modern luxury truck. Finding one today, left for dead, is a punch to the gut for collectors. Because of its fiberglass components, the body might not rust like steel, but the sun-drenched resin cracks and spiders over decades of neglect. These trucks were expensive and produced in low numbers. Seeing one sitting behind a collapsed barn, its panoramic wraparound windshield shattered and its stylish chrome trim pitted by acid rain, is a haunting reminder of a failed revolution in design. It was a truck too beautiful for its time. The Dodge Power Wagon, first-generation military civilian cross, the Power Wagon is a beast born from the trenches of World War II. When it was released to the civilian public, it was essentially a weapon of mass construction. It featured a massive front-mounted winch, a monstrous four-wheel drive system, and a stance that could intimidate a mountain. These are often found in the deep woods of the Pacific Northwest or the rocky inclines of the Appalachians, literally left where they broke down 40 years ago. Because they were so heavy and difficult to tow once they died, many were simply abandoned in place. You'll find them with trees growing through the engine bays, their heavy-gauge steel resisting the rust longer than any modern vehicle ever could. They are forbidden because their mechanical complexity and the sheer weight of their components make a field recovery a Herculean task. To see a Power Wagon, a machine that helped build the infrastructure of the modern world, sinking into the mud is like seeing a retired war hero forgotten by the country he served. The 1961 Ford F-100 unibody. Ford took a massive gamble in the early 60s by eliminating the gap between the cab and the bed, creating a sleek, continuous body line known as the unibody. It was an aesthetic masterpiece but a functional nightmare. If you loaded the bed too heavily, the body would flex so much that the doors would pop open or worse, jam shut. Because of this fatal flaw, thousands were sent to early graves in scrap yards. However, some survived in the hands of unsuspecting owners, only to be abandoned when the structural integrity finally gave out. Finding a unibody today is a rare event. They usually sit in overgrown fields, their long, flowing lines distorted by gravity and frame sag. They are the forbidden outcasts of the Ford family, beautiful to look at, but structurally cursed. Most have been reclaimed by the earth, their integrated beds filled with decades of fallen leaves and rainwater. The Willys truck was doing the heavy lifting. With its unmistakable flat-nose cab and high-clearance fenders, it was the ultimate off-road workhorse. These trucks were built to be used and abused, and most of them were driven until the engines seized or the transmissions turned to shrapnel. Today, you can find them in the high deserts of the Southwest, preserved in a ghostly patina by the dry heat, or in the humid South, where they are nearly invisible under thick kudzu vines. The Willys truck is forbidden because it represents a simplicity we can never return to. Seeing a 1950s Willys sitting on flat tires, its wooden bed floor completely disintegrated, and its simple gauges clouded by time, is a testament to the era of the mechanical mule. International Harvester gave us the Travelette. It was the first true six-passenger, four-door pick-ape. These were the choices of railroad crews and large farming families. Because International Harvester eventually stopped producing light trucks to focus on heavy machinery, these vehicles became orphans. Finding a Travelette left for dead is like finding a dinosaur skeleton. They are massive, imposing, and incredibly rare. They are often found in the backlots of defunct mining operations or at the edges of sprawling ranches. Their massive doors hang off rusted hinges, and their cavernous interiors are now home to owls and hornets. They are forbidden icons of American utility, trucks that were too big to hide and too unique to easily fix, leaving them to wait in the silence for a restorer who will likely never come. The Studebaker TranStar. Studebaker was a company that always punched above its weight, and the TranStar was their crowning achievement in the truck market. With its aggressive, upright grille and a hood that looked like it belonged on a locomotive, the TranStar was a masterpiece of mid-century industrial design. However, when Studebaker collapsed in the 1960s, these trucks became instant orphans. Finding a TranStar today is like discovering a relic from a lost civilization. Usually, they are found tucked away in the shadows of old, collapsing dealerships in the Midwest or sitting silently in the tall grass of a forgotten orchard. The paint, often a faded two-tone, peels away in large flakes, revealing the high-quality steel underneath that is slowly losing the war against oxidation. They are forbidden because their unique parts, the specific badges, the Mazda Ripu, rotary engine pickup, in the mid-70s, Mazda did the unthinkable. They put a high-revving Wankel rotary engine into a utility pick-ape. The Ripu was a fire-breathing anomaly that could scream to a red line that would make a V8 tremble. It featured flared fenders and 4 round taillights that mimicked the sporty RX-3. Today, these rotary pickups are the ultimate forbidden fruit for JDM enthusiasts. Most were driven hard and suffered from the early rotary engine seal failures, leading owners to park them in damp garages or under backyard tarps where they've sat for 40 years. Seeing a Ripu left for dead is particularly tragic. The specialized rotary power decals are usually bleached white by the sun, and the unique dashboard is often cracked beyond repair. The Datsun 620 bullet side. The Datsun 620 introduced the world to the bullet side design, a distinct, aerodynamic crease that ran along the side of the bed. It was the pick-ape that proved Japanese trucks weren't just efficient. They were cool. However, the steel used in the 70s was notoriously susceptible to the tin worm. Consequently, most 620s found today are forbidden because they are structurally compromised. You might find one in a suburban backyard, looking almost complete from a distance, only to realize that the frame has been snapped by rust and the floorboards have returned to the earth. There is a specific sadness to a 620 left for dead. It was a vehicle of the youth, often customized with stripes and chrome, now sitting as a hollowed-out shell, a ghost of the vibrant street culture it once headlined. The Hudson Big Boy. Before Hudson merged with Nash to form AMC, they produced the Big Boy, a pick-ape built on a car chassis, specifically the Hudson Commodore. This gave it a ride quality and a level of interior luxury that was unheard of in the 1940s. It was the gentleman's truck. Today, finding a Big Boy in the wild is nearly impossible, making them one of the most forbidden finds on this list. When they are found, they are usually in the back of old estates, their sweeping, elegant fenders buried under decades of compost and fallen branches. The massive chrome bumpers, once the pride of the highway, are now dull and pitted. To see a big boy left for dead is to see the death of an era where even a work vehicle was expected to have the grace of a limousine. The Chevrolet Corvair 95 Rampside. The Rampside was perhaps the most ingenious pickup ever built, featuring a side door that doubled as a ramp, allowing you to wheel heavy cargo directly into the bed. But because it was based on the rear-engine Corvair, it was plagued by the controversy surrounding the model's safety and eventually discontinued. Today, these trucks are eccentric relics. You'll find them in desert junkyards, their air-cooled engines long since seized and their innovative side ramps rusted shut. The Rampside is a forbidden legend because of its complexity. The specialized seals and hinges for that side ramp are a restorer's nightmare. Seeing one of these sitting on its axles in the sand, the original Jeep Gladiator, SJ series, long before the modern nameplate was revived. The original Gladiator was a rugged, full-size beast that shared its architecture with the Wagoneer. Built with a go-anywhere attitude, these trucks were often the choice of forest rangers, remote ranchers, and mountain explorers. Because they were so capable, they were frequently pushed into the most inhospitable environments on Earth. And that is exactly where you find them today, left for dead. It is common to spot an original Gladiator at the bottom of a ravine or parked behind a high-altitude cabin, its iconic Rhino or Jeep-style grille choked with dry brush. The heavy-duty suspension, once capable of crawling over boulders, is now collapsed, and the cab is often filled with pine needles and the scent of old oil. They are forbidden because their unique Dana axles and specialized drivetrains are a nightmare to recover from the remote locations they were abandoned in, leaving them to serve as permanent monuments to off-road history. The Ford Courier, first generation, in the 1970s, Ford partnered with Mazda to bring a compact, fuel-efficient pickup to the American market during the oil crisis. The Courier was a humble, honest little truck that helped a generation of small business owners survive. However, because they were seen as disposable workhorses, very few were treated with the care of a collector's item. Today, they are the ghosts of the industrial suburbs. You'll find them in the back of old plumbing shops or rusting behind suburban garages, their small 1.8-liter engines seized by decades of moisture. The thin sheet metal of the 70s was no match for the elements. Usually, the bed is so perforated by rust that it looks like lace. Seeing a Courier left for dead is a quiet tragedy. It's the death of a little engine that could. The Dodge Lil Red Express in 1978. This was the fastest American-made vehicle from 0 to 100 miles per hour, thanks to a loophole in emissions regulations. With its vertical semi-truck exhaust stacks, real oak wood trim, and gold decaling, it was a factory-built hot rod. But the 1980s were not kind to these trucks. Many were stolen, crashed, or had their expensive wood trim rot away in the rain. Finding a Lil Red Express left for dead is a surreal experience. You might see those iconic stacks poking out from under a tattered tarp in a damp driveway, the chrome now a dull, pitted gray. The forbidden nature of this truck comes from its specificity. Without the original 360 Police Interceptor engine and the unique trim, it's just another old Dodge. Seeing one in a junkyard, its gold decals peeling like sunburnt skin, is a harsh reminder of how quickly the fastest legends can fall from grace. The Toyota Hilux, first generation/N10, the Hilux is globally famous for being the truck that cannot be killed. But even the most indestructible machines can be abandoned. These early models were the scouts of the global frontier. Today, they are found in the most forbidden places on the planet: deserted combat zones, abandoned tropical plantations, or deep in the Australian outback. While the engines might still turn with a bit of luck, the bodies are often mere suggestions of what they once were. Left for dead in high-humidity jungles, the white or yellow paint is replaced by a thick coat of green moss and deep orange rust. They are left behind not because they failed, but because the world moved on, leaving these tiny, iron-willed survivors to slowly sink into the tropical mud. The GMC Cyclone. The Cyclone was a turbocharged, all-wheel drive monster that could shame a Ferrari in a drag race. It was a masterpiece of 90s performance, but it was also incredibly fragile. The sophisticated turbo system and the unique transmission were prone to expensive failures if not meticulously maintained. Many Cyclones were left for dead in the early 2000s when their owners couldn't afford the specialized repairs. Now, they sit in the back of transmission shops or under lean-tos, their aggressive black body cladding fading to a chalky gray. They are forbidden because they are high-strung thoroughbreds. Once the electronics and turbo piping start to rot, bringing one back is a financial black hole. Seeing one of the most significant performance trucks ever made sitting on 4 flat tires, covered in a layer of shop dust and bird droppings, is the ultimate left-for-dead heartbreak. The Volkswagen Type 2 pickup, single cab/double cab, derived from the legendary transporter bus. The VW pickup featured a unique treasure chest locker under the bed and fold-down gates that turned the rear into a flatbed. These were once the darlings of European tradesmen and American hippies alike. Today, they are among the most sought-after left-for-dead finds in the world. You typically find them in the most picturesque but devastating conditions, leaning against a stone wall in a vineyard or buried up to their axles in a muddy orchard. Because they were prone to severe floor pan rust, many were abandoned when the driver's feet literally touched the pavement. Seeing a split-tie or bay window pickup left for dead is a haunting sight. The iconic oversized VW emblem is often the only thing still shining through the rust. They are forbidden because their market value has skyrocketed. Yet the ones left in the wild are often so far gone that they are more rust than steel, mocking the collectors who dream of saving them. The Subaru Brat bi-drive recreational all-terrain transporter. The Brat was a quirky, adventurous little beast famous for the 2 rear-facing jump seats bolted into the cargo bed. A clever move by Subaru to bypass the chicken tax import tariff. These trucks were built for the beach and the mountains, but that very lifestyle led to their demise. Salt air and road brine were the Brat's greatest enemies. Today, finding one left for dead is a study in structural decay. They are often found in coastal towns, tucked behind beach shacks, with the jump seats long since cracked by UV rays and the plastic handles brittle enough to shatter. They are forbidden because finding one with a solid frame is like finding a needle in a haystack. Seeing those iconic forbidden seats poking out of a rusted-out bed in a junkyard is a melancholic reminder of a time when safety regulations were loose and the spirit of adventure was high. The Plymouth Trail Duster. The Trail Duster was the twin to the Dodge Ram Charger, a massive, rugged SUV/truck hybrid with a removable roof that allowed for true open-air hauling. While the Dodge version saw some survival, the Plymouth variant is a rare ghost. These were the ultimate utility vehicles for families who needed to go off-grid. Now they are frequently found left for dead in the high plains or deep woods, often with the roof missing or improperly sealed, leading to an interior that has become a self-contained ecosystem of moss and rot. They are forbidden icons because Plymouth as a brand is dead, and the Trail Duster's specific trim pieces have vanished from the face of the earth. To see one sitting in a field, its massive V8 engine a cold block of iron and its heavy steel doors sagging, is to see the extinction of a brand's rugged ambition. The Shelby Dakota. In 1989, Carroll Shelby worked his magic on the mid-sized Dodge Dakota, stuffing a 5.2-liter V8 into a chassis that was never meant to hold it. Only 1,500 were ever produced. Because they look like a standard old truck to the untrained eye, many have been unknowingly abandoned in general population impound lots or left to rot in the back of estates after the original owner passed away. These are truly forbidden because of their pedigree, a genuine Shelby vehicle left to be reclaimed by the weeds. Seeing the specific Shelby upholstery torn and faded by the sun, and the unique alloy wheels caked in dried mud, is a tragedy for any performance enthusiast. It's a sleeper that fell into a permanent sleep, a rare piece of Carroll Shelby's legacy slowly turning into a heap of scrap metal in a forgotten corner of the country. The Chevrolet 3100 5-window Advanced Design Series. This is the quintessential American pickup truck, with its curvaceous fenders and the highly desirable rear corner windows. It is the truck everyone wants to restore, yet thousands still sit left for dead across the Great Plains. They are the most common residents of truck graveyards. You find them in rows, their hoods open like gasping mouths, their wooden bed planks long ago rotted away to leave only the metal strips. They are forbidden in the sense that they are often held by owners who refuse to sell, waiting for a someday that never arrives until the truck is beyond saving. A 5-window 3100 sitting in the purple twilight of a Montana field. Its chrome grille reflecting the last of the light while its frame sinks into the dirt, is the ultimate image of the forbidden pickup. A dream that stayed in the field too long. As the sun sets over these silent fields of iron and steel, we are left with a profound sense of loss that goes beyond mere machinery. These 20 forbidden pickup trucks, once the pride of their owners and the marvels of their era, have become involuntary monuments to the passage of time. Seeing a rare Shelby Dakota or a pioneering Willys truck surrendered to the encroaching forest is a stark reminder that even the most rugged legends are not immortal. We call them forbidden because, for many of them, the window of salvation has already slammed shut. The cost of restoration now far outweighs the value of the metal, and the specialized knowledge required to bring these unique engines back to life is vanishing along with the trucks themselves. But why does it hurt so much to see them left for dead? It's because these trucks represent more than just transportation. They represent a specific moment in human ambition. They represent the era of the unbreakable Hilux, the daring experimentation of the Mazda Rotary, and the sheer elegance of the Hudson Big Boy. When we let these vehicles rot, we lose a piece of our industrial soul. Each layer of rust is a forgotten story. A farmer who saved for years to buy that Chevy 3100, or a young driver who felt like the king of the world in a Lil Red Express. Now, those stories are being reclaimed by the earth, muffled by the growth of weeds and the relentless march of the seasons. However, there is a lesson in this decay. These automotive graveyards serve as a call to action for the next generation of enthusiasts and preservationists. While some of these trucks are truly too far gone, others are simply waiting for a hero with a trailer, a toolbox, and a vision. They remind us to cherish the machines we have today and to respect the history that paved the roads we drive on. If you ever find yourself wandering through a forgotten lot or peering into a collapsed barn, look closely at that rusted silhouette. It might just be a forbidden legend waiting for one last chance to roar. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world's most tragic automotive graveyards. These 20 titans may be currently left for dead, but through our memory and appreciation, their legacy refuses to stay buried. The road ahead may be paved with new technology, but we must never forget the heavy-duty ghosts that helped us get there. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and your heart in the garage.